Welcome to the Ozone.
Hello and welcome to the Ozone. My name is Jeff Hazard, the Assistant Director of Athletics and the Sports Information Director here at Oneonta. And today I'm welcoming to the show senior women's soccer player Micaela Honsinger. Welcome to the show, Micaela.
Thank you so much.
Why don't we start with currently what you're doing? I guess you're teaching right now in a high school.
I am, yeah. I had the opportunity, with everything going on, there was a school by me that was in the need of a Spanish teacher, so I applied for it and ended up getting the position. So I'm finishing up my Oneonta schoolwork and teaching half the day. So not what I expected, but I'm definitely loving it.
Yeah, well, it's a good experience. I mean, certainly you have another whole semester to go.
Right.
Will you be able to use any of this experience as part of your education? As far as
That's the plan. Hopefully I'll be able to use it as my student teaching. So it still has to go through the office and get the approval, but that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Now, you teach 10th grade Spanish, you said, and how is that? Like, how's that going?
It's great. It's going really well. I have a few sections and the kids are great. So we've been having a lot of fun trying to make the most of the situation and use some fun technology and stuff to get the kids engaged. So I think it's going pretty well.
So you're doing in-person classes?
Yes, it's split. Half the week is in person for the kids, and then it switches online. So depending on the day, some students are in the building and some students are at home. So it's kind of a hybrid situation.
Right. Now, how? I mean, you would think that high school students can deal a little bit better with kind of what we're doing right now with this remote, not remote situation. So how do you think they handle it? I mean, are they okay with it? Is it just now kind of the thing they're doing?
I think so. I think there's definitely some challenges with it, and kind of my goal is to figure that out and try to help them with it. But I think for the most part, they're okay. They're getting used to using, technology and things being virtual, but there's definitely a chunk of it that is still pretty difficult in terms of, social interaction and things like that. So I think they're doing well, but yeah, I think it's tough.
Yeah. It's different. I mean, no one ever expected that we'd be kind of doing what we're doing now. I mean, it allows me to be able to talk to you today without having to actually have you come into the studio. So let's talk a little bit about that. We're currently we hope we're near the end of the pandemic. I don't want to say we're in the middle of it because, we want to have some hope at the other end. But pandemic shut down everything pretty much since last spring. March, the country and schools and colleges and universities around the country. Certainly it has put a damper on college athletics, especially at our level in Division III. And for you personally, I mean, you had your junior season cut short with an injury, and so I know how hard you train and getting ready to come back for your senior season and to have it, canceled as well. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that and how you handled that and how you've been able to, kind of maybe make the best of the situation?
Sure. So at the beginning it was a little disappointing because I was really eager to get back out there after not being there last year from being injured. But I think I'm a positive person and I like to look at the bright side of things. So I know we're not playing our sport right now, but I still have, this great support system, and we try to make the best of being maybe away from each other or online. So although we didn't have like this traditional season that maybe we were hoping, I still, I have these great teammates and these great friends. So we Zoom train together, we get on, we try to make the best of it. So yeah, it wasn't as we expected, but we're all healthy and trying to make the best of it. So
right. Now, what are some of the things? I know that a lot of our coaches are trying to be a little creative with some of the things that they're doing to keep, the athletes engaged until we can hopefully get to a practice situation in the spring. So what are some of the things that the team's been doing? I know that, Liz, head coach Liz McGrail pops in from time to time and she talks about some of the things that she's doing. But from your perspective, what are some of those things and how do you think the team has been able to, I guess, engage or react to that?
Yeah, our team, we're very passionate about this part of it. So we have right now we're doing our COVID Cup. So we broke our team up into smaller groups, like mini teams, and we keep track of, you get a point if you, I don't know, you work out with a online, like a Skype or FaceTime call. You get a point if you post a workout idea to the group chat, or you get a point if we have a group chat. So if you post into the group chat, you get a point. If you like someone's post, you get a point. So it's just kind of encouraging us to work together, and to stay connected. We had a little like pumpkin carving contest in the fall, so we're definitely trying to make the most of it. And yeah, a little competition. So
Right. Well, I mean, that's why you're an athlete. I mean, it wouldn't be the same if you weren't being competitive at something, right?
right.
So now, in your position as being, a senior leader in our program, and you have been a leader, not just this year, but I know, from even last year, even when you were injured, you were still, with the team and still doing, the things just to be a leader, be around the team, and I know that's important to you. So, can you talk a little bit about, what it's like to be a leader as a college athlete in this program?
Yeah. I think speaking from my experience, like our team, if you could, for me, leading by example is kind of what I've tried to do. And also, as now that I'm like in a job right now teaching, I kind of thought about everything that I've learned about leadership and leading my team is transferring over to what I'm doing now, and kind of, being confident in what I'm doing, and showing the way, working towards a goal. Leading by example is kind of something that I feel like has helped me carry into, I guess, my job, and everything in soccer that has helped me become a leader and has shown me that is what I will take with me. So, and I mean, I wouldn't have had some of these ideas or techniques or whatever you want to call it if I didn't have good leaders before me. I had some incredible captains my freshman and sophomore year. So it's kind of, I mean, shown me some ways that I can lead maybe in the future and with my teammates.
Right. Now, in our department, we do a lot of leadership training, and there are a lot of opportunities to take advantage of. How would you rate those opportunities for yourself? Like you said, you've been able to pick up some things and techniques, and now you're using them in your teaching. But what are some of the opportunities or programs that you think within our leadership situations that you would maybe highlight?
I would say I know the Leadership Academy that we do for athletes has been really helpful, especially because when I was, a sophomore and a freshman, it was still available. So you think, oh, you can't be a leader until you're in your senior year. But when I was coming in, I was like, okay, I can be a leader even though I just got here. Like I can pick up on some things, and they give you tips to help you kind of become a leader. So that I really enjoyed those.
And do you think those are important to be able to participate in?
Definitely, yeah. We go with our teammates, so it's kind of you're with other leaders in athletics. So maybe you're struggling with something or you're looking for advice. The fact is that other athletes are going through the same thing, and they have advice, and you kind of bounce ideas off of each other. So it's not necessarily like preaching, you have to do this, this, and this. It's more of like a discussion and figuring out the best ways you can reach your teammates. So it's really interactive.
Now, going back to the pandemic, now you've done a couple of study abroads. You did one in 2018 over in, I'm just looking at your resume here.
Colombia.
In Colombia, yeah. And then this past spring, you were in Spain when this whole thing really came about. And then you found yourself trying to get back to New York.
Yes.
What was that experience like?
They always say when you study abroad, you'll get experiences you'll never forget. And that was like something like I'll always remember. We got basically the short story is we got the email saying our program was being canceled due to the pandemic. So I think I received the message on a Wednesday, and Thursday I was on my way to the airport to come back home. So it was a quick turnaround, and not really knowing at that point like what everything was going to play out to be. We were receiving things like, oh, you won't be able to come back into the United States if you've been away and by this date, and it was just a scramble at the end. But yeah, it was definitely interesting.
Yeah, but you made it home, and so here's the question. I mean, do you think that because of your experience as an athlete or a student athlete, do you think that that maybe helped you deal with it a little better?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was with another girl that went on the program. She was also a student athlete, and we were kind of the I don't know, we had a good mentality about it, that we were like, okay, we need to do this, this, and this,
Yeah.
and everybody needs to relax, and we're gonna be fine. And so it was kind of it kind of helped us keep our cool and look at it with a better perspective, I think, than maybe some others. But
Right, right. Was soccer always the game for you?
yes, yep, always.
Yeah, you never played any other sports, or you?
I played lacrosse. I played lacrosse, softball. I did track.
Wow.
I did all the typical
Yeah.
sports. But soccer was always at the end of the day, that was it.
Okay. What is it about the game of soccer that really, why do you love it so much?
I think you can be so creative with it, and it is a team sport. So, my favorite part is kind of connecting with my teammates and trying to be creative and look at the other team and see how you can maybe take advantage of their weaknesses and things like that. So, like for me, I didn't love so much track because it was just me. Or if I was playing, softball, it's like, oh, if I make a mistake, then that's it, the game's over. So soccer is a lot more fluid, and it's a lot
Yeah.
more, it's fun. You can be creative, and mistakes don't matter as much as how hard you work to get it back. So
Right.
it's fun. Yeah.
Right. Thankfully, it's 90 minutes long.
Yeah. A lot of time.
A lot
A
of
lot.
time to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the women's program here, and what attracted you to Oneonta, and some of the maybe the highlights of your career here. Again, in the situation that we're currently in. But just talk about what it was about the women's soccer program, and how you've enjoyed being at Oneonta.
So for me, I came to do an overnight to visit and meet the team. And the second I basically walked in, I felt like it was like this family atmosphere. And when I was looking at schools, I was like, I don't really want to go away. Like I'm very family oriented. So homebody.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and it felt like just this team, and that, inside and, on the field, off the field, it was going to be this group, that would, support you. And it just felt very, very like home to me. So that definitely attracted me. And the second thing was that I looked at some other programs, and soccer was a part of it, but it wasn't really this big deal. And at Oneonta, I mean, obviously our academics come first, but it's like academics and like sports are like right here. So
Yeah.
it's a very high priority of sports. And I felt that it kind of had this like Division I mentality, but at a Division III level. So those are like the two things that wrote me in.
Now, can you just talk a little bit about your time here, and again, maybe a highlight or two, for some of those memories that that you have?
Sure. I think my favorite memory, I always love the Mayor's Cup tournaments. It's their home field, and
Yeah.
it's always a really good battle. And last year, the weekend before I got injured, we had a Mayor's Cup tournament, and we ended up winning. And it was just like the whole weekend, I felt like we were clicking as a team. We were kind of finding our groove, and we were on our home field, and a lot of perfect fall day. So it was just like this great memory that I have about playing. That would probably be the favorite.
Now, I guess before we get into some of the other things that you've been doing on campus, what kind of knowledge or wisdom would you pass on to the younger players or potential recruits that we're looking at to bring into the program?
I would say make the most of every moment, which I feel like is a common theme now. But I never thought I was going to get injured, or I never thought we wouldn't have a season or this or that. And everybody has their own story. So make the most of every practice, and enjoy your teammates, and enjoy your sport, because playing at the college level is very, very special. So I would just say take advantage of everything and appreciate it.
Yeah. And certainly, in going over your resume on some of the activities that you've been involved in, I mean, you certainly have lived that. I mean, you've got a great academic record, with your GPA and the programs and the scholarships that you've been rewarded for that. Now, your involvement, currently you're actually a student director on the SUNY Oneonta Foundation Board. Can you talk a little bit about that experience?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm kind of like the student voice for the foundation board. So their goal is to kind of take in the funds that come into Oneonta and figure out ways that they can help the student body develop and grow. So it could be in the form of scholarships or in the form of, research or travel. So for me, I kind of give the input on the student perspective, and we kind of work off each other and figure out ways that Oneonta as a whole can help the students. So it's definitely helped me with kind of professional relationships and public speaking and that aspect of things.
Right. Now, knowing Paul Adamo for as long as I have and working with him and his experience and his knowledge and how he just has a way to be able to speak with people. I mean, certainly when you're in the development area, you got to know how to, kind of bring some people along because, you're trying to fundraise for opportunities for students. And I think that having students as part of that, the foundation board, I think, like you said, it just adds to the total package of being able to, get a student voice, how do you think this is working instead of, like Paul? I mean, Paul, I'm sure could figure it out, but, just being able to get that extra input and learning more leadership, as you say, more leadership skills in a different arena, because, you're in a professional situation, and I know that you've been a very vocal person in that group, so we certainly want to thank you from athletics and being a student rep on that as well. So thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. I just to add to that, you said how, Paul asked for our opinion and things like that. And that group, it really goes to show how much they care about the students, which I knew people cared obviously about us, but to speak with alumni and to speak with the people at Oneonta, it kind of reaffirms the idea that everyone cares about you at Oneonta. It's this very family atmosphere.
Right. So you're also involved in our Student Athlete Advisory Committee. You've been involved for a few years since your sophomore year. What has that been like for you?
That's been great. I love that group. It's kind of just a group of leaders on the teams. Every sport is represented, so it's nice to speak with them. Again, kind of bouncing off ideas and kind of brainstorming ways that we can excel in our sport, but also kind of help in the community and help in making our voices heard as athletes. So it's a great group. There are some really, really good leaders in there, and I like the work that we do. Right,
and you certainly do. That group is very active, and every year we keep getting more leaders out of that that group that just make our department just take off, and we keep raising the bar. You think, geez, how much higher can you get? And the student athletes just continue to just amaze. Actually, it's just amazing. So I guess as we get closer here, what's next for you? You got another semester left, and then what?
Next year I'm planning on getting my master's in TESOL, so like teaching English to speakers of other languages is my goal, and so I'd love to get my master's in there. And I'm also dying to go back to Spain, so I'm figuring out a way to do that.
Yeah, to get the full experience.
Yeah, I definitely want to go back. I miss it.
Yeah. Now, so where are you looking at for graduate schools?
Right now, I'm looking at Brockport and Nazareth.
Okay.
Those are my top two right now.
And so, what would you get your graduate degree in?
In TESOL.
Oh, okay. Now we know we have a former player who's actually doing this right now, Kayla Baloosh, and she certainly has been able to, maximize the opportunity to be able to do this. I mean, is that kind of someone that you've either talked to or reached out to?
Yeah, she's definitely the role model. I talk to her pretty much, I'd say every few weeks we chat. She's so kind, and like you said, she's one of the people who I think has made the most of her experience at Oneonta and beyond. So she's always throwing me ideas. She's like, all right, this is what you could do. This is my advice. She's the best. She's always giving advice. She's really good.
So anything else that you maybe see you'd like to talk a little bit about? I mean, your experiences or anything at Oneonta that maybe you'd just like to talk, is there a professor or an academic class that you had that you think stands out or made an impact on you to kind of maybe guide you in this direction?
The Spanish department as a whole, I think, was really great. I remember I came in when I was in high school looking at Oneonta, and the professors, like, they're like, here's a paper, read about this. You'll find this interesting, And I wasn't even a student here yet, and they were already being so kind. So, and that's been true my entire experience here. So they've definitely, inspired me to do things, to study abroad, and to kind of follow my interest in that regard. So the whole Spanish department, I only have nice things to say. They're great.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, before we get you out of here, I've just got, doing this with all our guests, we've got 5 quick questions for you, and just give me just rattle off what your answers are. Yeah, this will be fun. It'll be fun. So what's your favorite meal?
I like pizza.
Pizza, all right.
Or Indian food. It's a tie.
Okay, all right, that's good. What's your favorite movie?
Miracle.
Well, now for someone who's old enough to remember the actual games, that was quite a movie. It did depict that time in that 1980. That was, you would be amazed how many people were glued to their television set watching those hockey games.
Yeah, I wish I could be. If I could go back in time, that's the exact moment I would pick.
Yeah, and I grew up in New England, and a lot of those players were from New England, and that, like in the Boston area. I grew up just outside of Boston, and it was great to see those players contribute in such a way to that victory, which was just amazing. Like I said, it was just incredible. What's your favorite genre of music?
Ooh, I don't know. I like jazz music, kind of like jazz. I mean, I like everything. I don't know if there's one particular.
Okay. No, jazz is fine. Jazz is good.
Jazz is fun,
Yeah.
It's relaxing.
Who's your favorite athlete of all time?
Ooh. Well, I would say Micah Ruzioni because he just is amazing.
Yes. Micah Ruzioni, the captain. From Winthrop, Massachusetts. And he still does a lot of stuff, in hockey, but he does a lot of charity work. He's just an incredible person. Place you would most like to visit? Now, we probably said you want to go back to Spain, but is there another place?
Yeah, if I can't pick, Spain would be number one. But if I can't pick Spain, I don't know. I'd love to go to Europe, like Paris, France. Okay. Anywhere in Europe. I think Argentina would be cool too.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's all my questions.
I passed.
Yeah, you did. No, you passed. Flying colors. I just want to thank you again for taking time out of your schedule, and we certainly wish you continued success and good luck as you move into your next semester. And it's exciting that you're already teaching and getting that experience, and it looks like you're on your way to a lot of great things. So we want to, congratulate you on all your success now, and then just good luck going forward.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank Micaela for coming on today's show, and we'd like to remind you that you can watch the video portion on our YouTube channel, and you can also either listen or download the podcast version from our website or from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Casts. And again, please continue to join us each time for the Ozone.